Hey sis, I see you, the strong one, the faithful one, the woman who keeps showing up for everyone else while quietly wondering if anyone still sees her. You can breathe now. You're safe here. I'm Keisha Boyd, the Identity Midwife, and this podcast was created to help you rediscover who you are right in the middle of real life. Here we talk about faith, healing, identity, and the gentle work of becoming. You don't have to fix a thing. Just lean in. You've been located. Hey sis, welcome back to the Identity Midwife podcast. If you've been rocking with me since episode 1, then you already know this is not just a podcast. This is where heaven meets your heart. This is where identity gets revealed, restored, and reborn. We've walked through my story, my military years of being told I wasn't enough, the hidden battles I carried behind polished smiles, the purpose coach God sent to wake me up, the mirror moment, and then episode 5, the vision of the waiting room. And baby, today, the waiting room becomes real. Because today, I get to introduce you to the first woman stepping out of that room, the very first butterfly coming forth. Her name is Jeannette. She is a minister, a speaker, an author, singer, songwriter, if she can blow, and a jewelry designer. She is a founder of Heal Girls Love, a branding ministry built on teaching women how to heal their hearts, fill them with love, and walk boldly in the purpose God placed inside them. And today, she's going to talk with us about mother wounds and father wounds, the stuff so many of us carry, but rarely have a safe place to unpack. Before we jump in, y'all, you know the drill. Pause real quick and like, subscribe, drop a comment. I need to know I'm not talking to myself out there. Engage with me so the women who need this can find it. All right, let's get into it. Jennifer, thank you. Welcome. I am honored, truly honored to have you as my first guest. And so please introduce yourself to the women.
Hello, ladies. I am Jennifer Jeannette, and I am so excited about what God is going to do in this space on today. I am here to share what God has placed on my heart concerning my mother and father's wounds, and I hope that you can gain something from my story to help you in your journey.
So, Jennifer, just share briefly a little bit about where you're from, where you were raised, and how you were brought up.
So, I am from a small town called Leesville, Louisiana. It was outside of a military base, so we were a military community. I grew up in the household with my mother and my grandparents. My grandparents had 15 kids, so it was a lot of people in the house. I grew up to 2 drug addicted parents. My father lived in New Orleans, and he was not present in my life. So that's kind of a little background story on me.
Okay. Wow. So, how would you say your relationship with your father shaped the way you saw yourself growing up?
So from a very young age, I felt like that he didn't love me. And so that caused me to look for love in all the wrong places. So at a young age, I became sexually active because I was trying to fill voids inside of my heart.
When did you first realize something here is affecting me deeper than I thought, or than you thought? Sorry.
So when I had moved to North Carolina, I was around 22 years old and I was in church and I was introduced to the Father's love. And when I heard about the Father's love, that revealed to me that I had been looking for a father figure all my life and that I had been operating from rejection my whole life.
Wow. And so, what did rejection look like for you?
Ooh, child. Rejection looked like having sex at a very young age, always trying to be in a relationship from a very young age, getting pregnant young, sleeping with married men. I was just trying to feel loved, and whoever was there to comfort me, that's what I gave into. So that's what rejection looked like for me. It ruled every decision that I made because I just wanted it to be wanted. I just wanted to be loved.
So, what did that wound teach you about yourself, even if it wasn't true?
It made me feel like that no one would never stay, that I wasn't worthy of someone really loving me for me. I felt like I had to perform and that love was conditional. So I never got to experience that unconditional love and it made me feel unworthy of it.
Okay. So if you could pinpoint it, what lie did you hold on to the longest?
The lie that I held on to was the longest, it was that I was unloved.
Okay. So is there anything else you would like to share about your relationship with your father?
I realized as I got older that because he was addicted to drugs as well, that he loved me from the best way he knew how.
That is beautiful. So let's switch gears a moment and talk about your mom. So, what was your relationship with your mother like when you were younger?
So my relationship with my mama when I was younger, it was kind of complicated because we lived with her and she was on drugs. It was distant. I was disconnected. And I felt like that I was taking on her role. So I felt like the mother and daughter relationships role were reversed. And I had to become that responsible person versus her being that responsible person. So it made me kind of resent her a little bit because I felt like I had to grow up early because of the actions that she was doing.
Okay. So, what was the relationship once you got to be like a teenager or high school? Like, how was high school for you?
So basically, I was just kind of doing my own thing because I didn't live with my mother since I was 16 years old. So basically, she was around, but it was like I was doing my own thing.
Right. So, what silent agreements or beliefs did you carry from that relationship that followed you into adulthood?
So I believe that I had to do everything on my own. I believe that I had to go get it for myself, because when I was growing up, no one never really took care of me. So I was out here in the world trying to figure everything out on my own. And I just believed that that was going to be my way of life, figuring it out on my own.
Wow. And so, I guess I'll ask the same question about your mom, and it's okay if it's the same answer. What did that wound teach you about yourself, even if it wasn't true?
It taught me that I couldn't depend on other people. But today I know that's not true.
That's good. There are so many women out there feeling the same way, so I know they can relate. And so, what lie did you hold on to the longest?
The same. I was unloved.
Okay. Do you remember the moment where God started pulling you out of that?
Yes. So when I was in church, as I talked about earlier, when I heard about the Father's love, that's when God began to really show me my life. That's when He began to show me, baby, you've been operating from rejection your whole life. That what you've been experiencing is not who I am. And so I was about 27 years old at that time. I was pregnant with my daughter. And that's when God really began to woo me and really began to show me, hey, I love you.
Mm. Wow. So, what did love feel like?
So growing up, it just felt like it wasn't there, that I had to go try to find it and chase it myself. So when God began to reveal his love to me, it felt amazing. It felt like, oh, wow, I can really experience this, that my mother and father not loving me didn't mean that I wasn't loved. So it began to feel good. It began to make me feel good about myself because it was like, hey, I am worthy of this. Hey, I can experience this.
Mm, I love that. If your heart's been heavy, if you've been searching for clarity or peace, I invite you to pause. Encounter coaching is a one-on-one space where you can lay it all before Jesus and let him speak. Every encounter is different, but the outcome is always the same: freedom, healing, and truth. Take the time. Give yourself this moment with the Father. The link is in the show notes. So, when you were walking out that process of experiencing God's love, what did healing actually look like for you? Not the cute version, the real version, the raw version.
Girl, healing was a mess. You hear me? So, in that moment I just shared, I began to have head knowledge of his love. But then I had to walk it out so that it could get deeply down in my heart. And y'all, I have been on this journey for 18 years. So this healing journey was layer upon layer because what I realized that even though I had the head knowledge that God loved me, because of all the broken places and because of all the things that I had been through, I didn't have the heart knowledge. Therefore, during that time, I cheated on my ex-husband because he kept rejecting me. And I would talk junk to my parents sometimes, judging them. But one time I cheated twice. So it was messy, but in it, I was going to this church. And that's when I began to learn about inner healing. And so during that moment of learning about inner healing, God began to unlayer the wounds in my heart. And he began to show me things about me because the whole time that I felt unloved, I was always blaming my parents. But he began to show me myself. He began to show me what I was doing because he was my standard. And so in those moments, I found myself apologizing to my mother and father all the time because I had judged them for years. And then when I cheated, I lied, I covered it up. But then I got so convicted to the point where my stomach would bother me. And I remembered saying to God, God, I need to tell this man the truth, but I'm not strong enough to tell him that. And so that thing tortured me and bothered me until one day he asked, did you do it? And it was in that moment that I knew I couldn't lie anymore. And I told him the truth, and he was like, he was done. So I began to beg. I wanted my marriage to work, but he ended up leaving. And when he left, I went through a season where I cried for 4 months straight. And in those months, I remember just listening to a thing on YouTube by William McDowell. And it was just like a 2-hour thing of him singing his good song. And in that moment, God was healing my heart. It was rough. I was depressed, and I didn't even know I was depressed because I didn't know what depression looked like. To me, all I knew is that I was hurting. And his song, You Are Not Alone, he was singing those songs, and those songs were healing me. And when I got up from them 4 months, I asked God, how did I get here? And God began to show me how I ended up in the situation that I was. So my stuff was a little messy. I was doing a little cussing with my ex because he was sleeping with somebody else. And I was cutting up a little bit. But it was those inner healing moments that really kept me. So it was very messy, but beautiful at the same time because God healed my heart in the process of it.
Thank you for sharing that. That is amazing. I know there'll be so many women who can really resonate with your story. So, my next question I'd like to ask you are one of the things that I talked about in one of my previous episodes on the podcast was the mirror moment that I had. And so, when I was going through my own journey of figuring out who I am, I looked in the mirror and it was as if I was looking at a different person. So I'm wondering, you could tell me if I'm wrong, if you ever had a moment where you looked in the mirror and you saw what God saw in you for the first time. And if you did, what was that like?
Well, I'm going to say my moment was one morning I woke up and remember how I was saying that there's a difference between having that head knowledge and that heart knowledge. And this was on Valentine's Day, actually, of this year. I woke up and I was secured in the love of God. I had changed. I didn't have to look for validation from a man anymore. I didn't have to look for validation from my parents. I woke up and I knew that I was finally where I belonged, and that was in the arms of Jesus and knowing that he truly loved me. So that was my mirror moment.
Wow, I love that. So who are you now that you were not before?
So now I know who I am. I don't chase love, I am love. I flow from love and I operate from love. Love is my ministry, love is my call, and that is who I am. Where before I was broken, I was wounded, I didn't know who I was. I was chasing identity. And so now I am love.
Good. So, what do you believe God has called you to carry for women?
So, because I know who I am now and because I know I'm loved, He has given me a mandate to bring other women on that journey, to teach them that they are loved, to teach them who they are, to teach them that they have a purpose, and to encourage them to walk that out.
Wow, I love that. So, for the woman listening who's where you used to be, what would you say to her right now?
I would say to her, trust God. Go on the journey with God because it is a journey. That nothing in your life is wasted and that God wants to heal her broken heart.
Wow, I love that. Is there anything else you would like to share before we wrap up?
Let love be your guide.
Awesome. I love that. So, Jennifer, how can women connect with you or follow you or get your resources if they want to go deeper?
So I am at Healed Girls Love on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I am Jennifer Jeannette on YouTube, and I have a website, healgirlslove.com.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here. All right, sis. So, if you are still here listening to us, I already know this episode was for you. Maybe you heard your own story in Jennifer's words. Maybe you've been carrying your own father wounds, your own mother wounds, your own feelings of abandonment, your own why wasn't I chosen? Why wasn't I protected? All those different types of questions. Maybe you're even mad at God. Maybe you're numb. Maybe you've been high functioning, smiling, showing up for everyone else, but internally you feel like you're still sitting in that waiting room. Daughter, you have been located. This is not random. You didn't just happen to press play on this episode. You were guided here. And before this episode, Jennifer and I prayed together. So I know that if you're listening to the sounds of my voice, her voice, we know that it is God ordained. And so the same God who saw me, the same God who saw Jennifer, sees you. And I want to tell you this. You do not have to stay stuck in that waiting room. You do not have to keep circling the same mountain. The Lord is calling you forth. Now, I'm going to say something very specific. And if your spirit leaps, you're going to know this is you. There are 12 women that the Lord has highlighted to be a part of the very first Locate cohort that's launching soon. Locate is my intimate small group experience where we sit with God and listen for who you truly are. We break agreement with lies and old labels, walk you through identity, healing, and clarity, and help you step out of that cocoon into who heaven has always said you are. If anything, if while I'm saying this, you feel that heat in your chest, that tug in your belly, that, oh my gosh, she is talking to me, then yes, I am talking to you. Don't overthink it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't say, I'll come back to this later, because later usually never comes. Here's what I want you to do. Email me at hello@theidentitymidwife.com. And you just let me know. I just listened to the episode with Jennifer. So if anything resonated with you for her, her information will be in the show notes so you can get in contact with her. And if you also feel led, and if you're part of my 12, reach out. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to know the how. You just have to respond. And so leave a comment. Again, like, subscribe, and type located. That's your faith response. That's you raising your hand in the spirit saying, I'm not hiding anymore. Jennifer, thank you again for sharing your heart, your story, your journey. And I know there'll be so many women that are blessed by your transparency. You are a gift. And we thank you. We thank you for walking out your journey, even when it was hard. We thank you for this moment and opportunity to even be in your presence, whether it's virtually or not. But to all those who are listening, you're not crazy. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You are not behind. Your Father sees you. He's been watching over you this whole time. And if you're listening to my voice right now, that means there's still assignment on your life. I love you. Jennifer loves you. We are praying for you, even if we've never met. Until next time, you've been located. Before you go, take one more breath. The same God who shaped you still sees you. Every scar, every tear, every win. Nothing about your story is wasted. If today spoke to your heart, share it with another woman who needs a reminder that she's not alone. And when you're ready to go deeper, everything you need is waiting for you in the show notes. Until next time, I'm Keisha Boyd, the Identity Midwife and daughter. You've been located.